Hey everyone, thank you for joining me for my end of year. So what we're doing today is we're going to tier list all of the games that I've reviewed this year, and we're going to do this every year. It's going to be an additive list, and they're going to just get added in. Now each year there will be one S tier game, and there will be one wooden spoon game. There may also end up being an F tier, which will be below the wooden spoon. F tier, obviously, crap. The wooden spoon is that I still think they did a decent job. They just were the worst game that I played that year, so there's no shade on that. You know, worst in club is not necessarily a bad thing. You know, even some good games might end up getting the wooden spoon depending on how good of a year I have. Now, just before we start, 500 subs, Space Crusade, so definitely we're going to keep whirling away at that. And I've got some extra stuff at the end of this video that if you want to stick around for, I'm going to talk about sort of where we're heading in the future with the channel, because there's going to be some changes made, and yeah, I'm not going to do that right now. So at the end, if you want to jump in and view that, great. Okay, so yeah, without further ado, let's get over to it. Alright, so we've got this in review order, so the order I reviewed it in. As I said, there will only be one S tier game, and there'll be a wooden spoon, so the games will be going into either A, B, or C, depending on where they are. I don't think there are any D tier games this year, so that's all good. And then when we get down to it, we're gonna crown S tier at the end, and then the wooden spoon. So, Gaslands Refuelled. What do I think about this one? Gaslands is a brilliant game. It is really good. It's super fun, super easy, super cheap. You can just buy the book and some Hot Wheels cars, and you can call it a day. You can make all the stuff that you need with the book. So you can print off the little dice things, you can print off the templates, and then you can just stick the dice to the face for the shift dice. And you really only need 6 shift dice, you don't need many more than that. It's not like multiple players are going to be taking multiple turns at the same time. And it's just super fun. It's a very fast-paced game. It's over pretty quick. It takes maybe half an hour if everyone's on the ball. And that's even with a kind of large game. It's also nice to sort of take a team from beginning to end in kind of like a campaign setting. So yeah, I really think overall this is a very fun game that really doesn't have that many issues. The only thing I'd say is a negative for it is it's got a couple of too many specialty tools, I think. It's got specialty dice, it's got specialty movement. Yeah, but other than that, it's definitely going A tier, for sure. And it is in contention for the S tier spot, but we'll get there. Pirates, the constructible strategy game. This is not one that you can really find anymore. I mean, you can still find it out there. Yeah, it's fun. It's a good little game. It doesn't take very long to play or set up, and it's very straightforward and easy to understand or learn. Everything you need comes in the packet, basically. If you buy a pack of these, you get pretty much everything you need to play, because all the movement's done via the cards, and you get tiny little dice, so that's cool. But it's not really like pulse-pounding action. You're not going to be outmaneuvering your opponents or anything like that. It's pretty much extremely bare bones when it comes to the actual strategy portion of the game. But it is fun, so I'm going to put it in B tier. Grimdark Future. Yeah, I know people are going to be like, yes. I don't know, a lot of people watch this channel because of the Grimdark Future content. And I love the game. It's really enjoyable. It's my go-to game if I ever just want to play some war game. That being said, I don't think it's the best game I've played this year. Grimdark Future is fantastic, and honestly is great. But it's kind of like how I enjoy playing D&D, but I don't think D&D is the best RPG out there. Grimdark Future is extremely good at what it does. It does a great job at individualizing each army. It's extremely balanced. I love it. If I'm ever going to get a wargame out to get someone into wargaming, it's going to be Grimdark Future. But that's where I kind of look at it. It's like a gateway into wargaming. You know, so you pick it up and you play it, and then you go, I wonder what else is out there. That being said, I don't think it's an average game. I think it is above average, particularly because it's very player friendly, and I gotta take that into account. I gotta take into account that they are very community based, Grimdark Future. So, Grimdark Future might not be getting S tier this year. Well, might not be getting S tier, but it is the guardian of A tier. So, what that means is that in order to qualify for S tier, you must beat Grimdark Future. If you've ever watched One Punch Man, it's the Amai Mask. You know, you make sure that people He could qualify for S tier, but he chooses not to make sure that no one unworthy gets in there. Space Gitz. Okay, so calling this a war game might be slightly charitable to it, but I'm gonna call it a war game. Space Gitz is fun. It is. But even playing it with the full rule set, which I have a couple times now, it's one of those games where I feel like you pick it up and you play it every once in a while, sort of like a palate cleanser, right? It itself is not extraordinarily good. It's very fun, it's very well made, it's smart in the way it does things, but I just can't see me whipping this out to scratch my wargaming itch. This is something that me and a couple friends have just played, 3-4 games of war games. We're a little bit toasted, like with the alcohol, and we think, let's just play this. Not that I drink, but you get the idea behind it. A few friends, had a couple drinks, play Space Gitz. That being said, I do think it's better than Pirates, but it's going to B tier as well. Mechwarrior the Dark Age. So this is the bastard child of Warhammer and Battletech. And both guys back in the day looked down upon you if you played this. Why are you playing shitty Warhammer? Why are you playing stupid people's Battletech? I don't think that's fair on either side. Coming back to it after a few years and playing it, I sit down and I go, I think the biggest problem I have with this game is that it added in too much crap as it went along. The pilot cards and the extra weapon cards and stuff like that didn't need to exist. If it just focused on sort of balancing factions out and maybe added a few more mechs in here and there each set, I think it could have gone a lot further. It's what I like to call the WizKids effect, which I've just coined, and that is that they try and move too quickly. Pirates had the same issue. What ends up happening is that they tried to just jam too many things in there to sell as many sets as possible as quickly as possible. If they'd slow burned, if they'd calmed down, maybe only released a set a year, people could have gotten used to it. They could have enhanced the rules. They could have altered some stuff, balanced things out. But instead what we got was just them constantly pumping out content until the game burned itself out. So maybe you could call it the first flame effect if you're a Dark Souls fan, But I do think it's a good game, and I honestly do think it's deserving of a spot in A tier. Low A tier for sure, but no, I mean it really does, it captures what I feel like a mech battle would be. It's got enough strategy that you're fine with it. It's got good dice rolls, it's straightforward rules. The clicky bases could use some work, but overall, no, I like it. I think it's fun. Ooh, next, Silver Bayonet. This is another one, guys. This is another contention for S tier, so let's put him up into the A tier. Silver Bayonet is, quite frankly, one of the best strategy games I think I've ever played, like war games. Without a doubt. It is extremely good. I love the fact that attacking and damage are all done in one roll. You just roll both d10s. The added sort of like extra monsters that you've got to take care of, take out, get in the way, as well as also competing against someone else at the same time. So they could have just made this game where, like, you were both on the same team and you went after the monsters, right? But no, you have two competing teams, and maybe even 3 or 4, like that you can play with multiple people, and you're all trying to get the artifact or the monster or whatever. And you're also trying to make sure that you damage the other opponent so it reduces their effectiveness. But you've kind of got to play, should I take the monster out? Should I take out one of their dangerous units? And yeah, just exploring and the playing card system and all that. It's brilliant. I really don't think I can actually say a bad thing about Silver Bayonet. I wish I could, but I can't. I mean, it's a skirmish game, which I don't think is a negative, but it's about the best I've got. Star Wars. Yeah, coming back to this one. See, I'm not a super nostalgic person, guys. Like, I can find enjoyment in games from my childhood, and I think I can also find enjoyment in things that other people might not particularly love. But this particular game just didn't do it for me. The only thing it has going for it is the Star Wars license. The miniatures are pretty crap in quality, like they're not great, even by pre-painted miniature standards. Like, this is from Wizards of the Coast. Even if you look at Mechwarrior, the Mechwarrior miniatures look way better. The half-melted faces, the character poses, bent lightsabers and stuff like that just don't really fill me with confidence, and the full rule system just... it's not great. It's 3.5, and honestly I'd argue that, like, Dungeons & Dragons 3.5, which is, I'd honestly argue, one of the worst systems to try and roll into a war game. Maybe AD&D would have been worse. But yeah, trying to get 3.5 to work, and that's sort of like a stripped down system as well. I don't know. I don't love it anymore. I think it's still decent, but it's like at best extremely decent. I just think at worst, I would play every other game in the list over this one. I think it's clearly a step down from all the other war games. Frostgrave. I mean, Frostgrave is extremely good. It's a good game. Jeez. Once again, like, it's not Silver Bayonet good. I'll say that. It's got a lot of really good ideas. I really love the game. I love the setting. I think that's great. So the thing is that what I don't love about it is the D20 system. D20s in war games are just too swingy. 1 second you could be absolutely devastating an opponent, and then the next second you roll and you are suddenly dead. The spell system, while really good as well, also, yeah, for me it's just a bit over the place. It's very swingy in the way it works. And the other thing is, because only your wizard levels up, you only really care about your wizard. I mean, if one of you guys dies and you lose a magic weapon, shit. Really, overall, I just sort of sit back and I go, I like this game and I definitely am going to play it, but I wouldn't really, like, take it super duper seriously as a war game either. That being said, it is still extremely well made, and it is going into A tier for this particular one. Yeah, like, the best I've got is the swingy, basically, which is definitely a penalty. And also, the monsters in the game just don't feel quite as gripping as Silver Bayonet's monsters. They're more of a minor annoyance. Silver Bayonet's monsters are actually built to sort of be fought, and may even be able to take on 2 groups of hunters. Frostgrave's guys just aren't that dangerous. Oh, hey, Exploit Zero. Exploit Zero, where are we going for this one? Exploit Zero is definitely a fun game. I did my first challenge run with it, so it's definitely there. But I've got to say, I just think it doesn't have the staying power. If it had a leveling system like Silver Bayonet, I'd be much more inclined to push it up. I'd probably go, yeah, no, this is a really good game. But it really doesn't. And we've also played a couple of hostile takeover campaigns where you actually play against the opposing player instead of in co-op. And yeah, they're fine, they're fun, but at the end of the day, you still sort of run into the same problem of the original game, and that is that you don't really level up in the game. Like, you don't really get better equipment, you don't level up, there's no progression to go through. It's a fun game to whip out and just go, hey, you want to play a war game, like a real quick one? Yeah, great. That's what Exploit Zero is good at. But if you're like, oh, I want to sit down and properly play a war game, I want to play a campaign or something, Exploit Zero just isn't going to scratch that itch. And while Hostile Takeover is great, Hostile Takeover is an expansion, right? You've got to buy that book, and once you factor in Exploit Zero, the Omnibus, and Exploit Zero Hostile Takeover, because the Omnibus doesn't have Hostile Takeover, it's the same price as Silver Bayonet. And I just think Silver Bayonet is far better. It pretty much anything that Exploit Zero does, Silver Bayonet does better. I'm interested to play their other games, so I'm definitely willing to give that a go at some point. I'm hoping that, I'll find one and I'll be like, yep, because I like the system. I just feel like the game itself is a bit... It doesn't have enough meat on the bone. It's like eating chicken wings. Exploit Zero is the chicken wing of wargaming. It's good while you're eating it, but then you run out of time very quick on it. Sweet. So it is better than Space Gitz though. Firefight. Mantics Firefight. So the way I found out about this game is I was looking through the one page rules subreddit, and someone had mentioned Grimdark Future. And some guys are like, I don't know why anyone plays that when there's a clearly superior version made by Mantic. And I was like... So, of course, I immediately said horseshit, because, like, that's not very fair. And then I played Firefight, and I was like, at the time, because I think this was before 3rd edition came out. And I played Firefight, and I kind of begrudgingly agreed with him. Since then, we've had 3rd edition and 3.5 come out, and I don't think that's an absolutely accurate statement anymore. That being said, like, because he said it's a clearly better version, I do think that Firefight is better than Grimdark Future, though. But I don't think it's, like, an absolute smashdown like it was when I first played Firefight, either. It is in contention for the S tier, though. So, Firefight is extremely good. It is a really good game. D8s make it really nice. I really enjoy the aspect of commanders in this one, and the height system is brilliant. Honestly, if Grimdark Future stole a couple of rules from Firefight, I would not be upset about it. The big negatives from Firefight is probably that the army list, like the point calculator they've got online, it is a mess. It is very complicated to sort through for new players comparatively to, say, Grimdark Future's one. And also, I will say that some of the commander abilities are a bit... And if I also have to get in on there are also some commander abilities that, depending on what your army comp is, you might not even be able to use. Or you can use them, but they won't do anything for you. So, yeah, Firefight, absolutely love the game. It is great, but it does have some issues, that's for sure. I don't think it's clearly better than Grimdark Future now. I think there's something that Firefight do better, there's some things that Grimdark Future does better. So let me put it that way. We've now got all our guys. Silver Bayonet, Gaslands, or Firefight. Well, sadly for Gaslands, I'm gonna have to eliminate it. It's gonna go down below Grimdark Future, because I do think the Grimdark Future is better now. Gaslands got a lot of positives, as I said, the price point being a big one, but I can't really overlook the added specialty items that you've got to have. And for me personally, that just means that it's like, yeah, for a lot of people it's going to be an extra little bridge too far. It's definitely a good game. I enjoy it. My son loves it. And I enjoy playing it. But sometimes it's like, he'll be like, can we play a game? And I'll be like, oh, I've got to get out all the templates and the skid dice. And I just can't be arsed. Like, so yeah, otherwise Gaslands will get played a lot more. So we come down to the Silver Bayonet and Firefight. So who's going to win? Silver Bayonet? Or is it Firefight? And it's going to be Silver Bayonet. Yeah, Silver Bayonet, as I said, I can't think of a single thing I dislike about it. It's very difficult to do so. As I said, about the only thing that I think I can even come up with is it's a skirmish game. And that's not really a negative for me. It used to be, it's not now. Yeah, I mean, it's a fantastic game. I've already gone over why I really enjoy it. To me, it's clearly the best game I played this year, and it's like clearly like the best game I played this year. Firefight and Grimdark, I'm going to say, are equal in their sort of like area. I'm probably going to... I'm trying to think, gun against my head, which one would I prefer to play? If I had to pick one over the other, I think I'd play Grimdark Future. Simply because right now, Firefight is really good, but it's got maybe like, if you're really generous, it's got like 9 armies, and then each one of them, some of them, have an additional faction or 2 attached to them. So realistically, if you take all the factions under the armies, you're probably looking at about 16 armies. But Grimdark Future has 24, and they're all pretty cool. So it's really hard to sort of go, I would play Firefight over Grimdark, because I probably wouldn't at this point. If Firefight picks up, absolutely. But right now, I think Grimdark, he's the king of A tier. He's guarding A tier. Yeah, that's about it. Obviously, all these other ones, I'm just going to see, Frostgrave's definitely better than Mechwarrior the Dark Age. That's for sure. Gaslands and Frostgrave, I think I'd prefer to play Gaslands, yeah. Exploit Zero and Space Gitz. Oh, that one's a hard one. That one is actually a hard one. I think I'd prefer to play Exploit Zero. As I said, Space Kids I'd get out when we're kind of a couple of drinks deep. Yeah. Pirates. If Pirates was still an active game, as in like you could go down to the corner shop and buy a pack, I would actually probably put it at the top of B tier. Yeah, I'm not joking, I actually would. But it being out of print, even being as good as it is, you know what? I think I'm going to have to do a couple of things here. I'm going to have to knock down Mechwarrior to B. I think it's a good game, but you can't really get it anymore. You have to go out of your way to find it, right? So, by its very nature, I have to knock it down. And I think Pirates is also going to have to get knocked down. Because, by its very... No, that doesn't feel right. No, sorry, I don't think Pirates is a C. No. I think Mechwarrior is the top of B, though. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I think if both those games are still in print, Mechwarrior the Dark Age, I'd definitely put higher. Pirates would also probably go to the top of B. Yeah. Yeah, move a couple spots each, yep. Well, let's be honest here, there's only one game left to go in the wooden spoon category, and that is Star Wars Miniatures. Look, as I've said, it's got a lot of issues, and I don't think it really holds up. I honestly, when I look at it, I'm like, I have no idea how this game got that far, right? I have no idea how this game got so many sets, how so many people loved it, because really, when I look at it and I look back on it, it's really unbalanced, and its rules are very confusing, as well as not being overly complicated as well. Its rules are confusing, not complicated. So, for me personally, I just sit there and go, well, yeah, and just for example, they released a D&D sister game. Same rules, same everything, just set in D&D. This was when D&D was not the juggernaut it is now. It did crap. It got 3 sets. That was it. And they were releasing a set like every 2-3 months. So the Star Wars miniatures got 15, 16 sets or something like that. It ran for 5-6 years. And I put that down to prequel trilogy fever. People just wanted to consume Star Wars as much as they possibly could. Hell, it has Clone Wars TV show set. I think that's why it did so well, is because the Star Wars mania. That's it. That's where I'm at. So, awesome. And that's our tier list for this year. Now, next year we will add to this tier list. So, yeah. Each year it's going to be added, and we will probably have people shift around as it goes forward. Silver Bayonet will stay in S tier permanently. So will any other game that gets there, and the Wooden Spoon winners will also stay there permanently. But as we go along, we may reshuffle, certain things. So, yes, excellent. Now that we've done that, time for the channel updates, guys. So, if you're going to stick around, thank you. So, basically, as you know, I will be taking a break until, I reckon I'm going to try and get back on the 2nd of January for YouTube stuff. Hopefully, the review will be Hail Caesar. If it's not on the 2nd of January, it'll be the week after that. So, now, some of the more astute of you may have noticed that I said the 2nd of January, which is a Friday. What the hell is that? Yeah, so I've decided that Monday is no longer going to be the day when I release stuff. I originally did it because I thought start of the week, give people time to sort of move and groove. But based on some of the YouTube logistics that I've got access to, like the tells me when most people are on, that's really not a good time for me. That's the worst. Monday is the worst day for me to post a video. So Friday will become the new day. Yes, that means Grimdark Fridays in a way sort of cease to exist, but that's not entirely true. So I will still be doing weekly videos each Friday, but I'm going to be cutting back. Currently, I've been doing bonus Grimdark Future videos, so that's not how it's going to happen. What we're going to do is we're going to go 1 week, a review, then we're going to go Grimdark Friday, then another sort of review or whatever, and then another Grimdark Friday. Sometimes the extra review might be a miniature range or something like that. Sometimes if I've got 2 skirmish games, it'll be both of them. Whatever it happens to be, is that the reviews will be miniatures or whatever. Sometimes the second one might be replaced with a sort of more loosey-goosey video, you know, maybe reviewing like an airbrush or talking about paints or, you know, doing bases or something like that. Probably not, because I've already covered those, but you get the idea. It'll be a topic. Or I've also got an idea for some challenge run videos, so I'm going to keep that one on my hat. I want that to be a surprise for the first video. But they're going to be Grimdark Future challenges, so I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully you guys are. They may be on a Grimdark Friday, or they might be on another day. That's pretty much where I'm sort of at as far as like the scheduling goes. Now, as far as videos that won't be making a return, unless there's enough people in the comments on this video go, no, Vamps, keep those videos, I love them. They're my favorite. Videos that will be going the way of the dodo will be For and Against, which was a series I tried to do near the start of the videos. Yeah, when it was a disaster. It was a disaster to make. It was a disaster of video. I think hardly anyone watched it. It was pretty garbage. I'm not against the idea, but I think if I was going to do it again, I would certainly look at getting another wargaming creator to do them with me. So if you are another wargaming creator who has an interest in doing something like that, shoot me a thing and we'll see if we can work something out. But for the most purposes, the actual format of the original video, gone. So yeah, battle reports will be sort of going the way of the dodo as well. Simply put, I'm not against the idea of the battle reports. This really depends on how people sort of feel. If there's enough people out there who go, yes, we'll watch battle reports, I'll reconsider. But currently at this point, I'd rather focus on the reviews and doing the extra sort of Grimdark Future stuff. And reviewing miniatures, even though the miniature videos don't tend to be as popular, but I don't care, I like reviewing miniatures. Shooting stuff for battle reports is a pain, and then editing them together is a pain. And honestly, I think there are just people out there who are better suited at it for me. I think there's enough channels doing battle reports that I don't also need to be one of those channels. That being said, as I said, I'm planning to do some challenge runs, which will be sort of done in the style of a battle report, so they'll still exist. You'll see when I release my might upon thee, I guess. War stories will not be on the regular schedule. I'm still going to do war stories, but I'll probably do them as painting videos. I got a lot to paint. So it'll be more like war story and painting, and they may end up becoming streams. Oh yeah, also just to keep you guys up to date, over the holidays I will still be doing Guess What's Printing and a couple of other shorts. So the shorts won't be stopping. The shorts are continuing on as normal. So you don't need to worry about possibly missing out on 2 weeks worth of shorts. They'll still come out, just I won't be doing proper videos in the 2 week period that I'm going to be taking off. I mean, I'll still be doing them, but you won't see any of them. I kind of gotta do it to collect footage and stuff like that. I will say that in February is my year-iversary on YouTube, as in like my first year of doing wargame content. It's not really my year-iversary. I've done some other content over the years but yeah, I'm planning to do an Ask Me Anything. So if you've got some burning questions that you want answered, either email me, join my Discord and ask me, or ask in the comments, and I'll sort of compile it into one big video for my YouTube-iversary for the year. So that'll be, I think, mid-February sometime. We'll say mid-February. Don't know exactly when, but yeah. Now that's all. Thank you so much for joining me for the year. Thank you for all the subs and love and all that kind of stuff. I really appreciate it. I even appreciate it when people dislike my videos, because, you know, it's more fuel for the algorithm, basically. And also, it's nice to know that, you know, I can always improve. So, that's great. The likes are much better, I will say, but the dislikes I'm still appreciative of. Alright guys, I will see you in January. Catches.